High school sports, we've got it covered. Overtime starts now.
Hello and welcome to Overtime. It's the place to be every Friday night for all things high school football. I'm Regan Holgate.
And I'm Scott Leber. It was another tense night as teams tried to nail down playoff berths or move closer to nailing them down. The wild race for the top of the NIC 10 continued with another big game at Belvedere North. Tim Bailey will join us in a bit to break down that one.
We'll also take a look at the most exciting play in high school football, the kick return, and the young men in the NIC 10 who are doing it as well as any of us have ever seen. But first, we'll start in Pecatonica, where the stands were filled tonight because, well, it was maybe the most anticipated game of the year in the Northwest Upstate Illini Conference.
The Lena Winslow Panthers against the Dupac Rivermen. They put on two classic battles the last 2 years. Lee Win won 2 years ago in the final seconds. Dupac turned the tables last year and wound up winning the conference championship. So, would it be another classic tonight in Pecatonica? Well, the Panthers came out strong in this one, jumped out to a 22-6 lead. Gunnar Lobdell had a pair of touchdowns and Gage Dunker another. Closing in on halftime, Cooper Hoffman rolls, throws, and he has Will Howard for a touchdown. It was still a game at that point, 22-12 Panthers. Now, right before halftime, A.J. Mulcahy of the Rivermen got dinged up, and he only played a couple snaps after that. That was a tough break. Third quarter, Gage Dunker goes into the end zone standing from 2 yards out. It was 30-12. Nearing the end of the third quarter, Jake Zeal gets the carry, cuts it back, and he has just enough acceleration to avoid the last Rivermen defender. That's a 66-yard TD. Dunker then added his third touchdown of the night. Lee Win rushed for over 450 yards. A bright spot for Dupac was the play of sophomore QB Cooper Hoffman. I thought he played well under duress. He connected again with Howard for a late touchdown. But unlike the last 2 years, this one was not close. Lee Win defeated Dupac 44-18.
We feel really good. We executed. We all did our jobs, and we just ran the ball.
Oh, it feels real good. You know, coming into it, we wanted to have a competitive game, and that's what we had. So coming out here and coming on the top end of a competitive game feels real nice.
You know, I thought our offensive and defensive line just dominated. Our running backs were outstanding tonight, running the football extremely hard and physical, and you know that's what we have to do to to win football games.
Well, that game is huge, but folks in Forreston also had a big game tonight.
The Cardinals hosted Fulton, and our very own Taylor Castro was there. She joins us now. Taylor, what do you have for us?
Both of these teams still have hopes of earning a share of the conference championship, but if that doesn't happen, we'll more than likely see them in the playoffs. Both the Cardinals and the Steamers were sitting on 4 wins at the start of tonight. It didn't take long for the action to start in Forreston. The opening kickoff bounces off of McKeon Crace, but he gets a hold of it and will return it to the 37-yard line for the Cardinals to take over. But that also didn't last long. The Fulton defense came to play, forcing a fumble. The ball is loose, and it's recovered by Dom Kramer for the Steamers. Now, Fulton QB Braden Dykstra has a strong arm. Here you'll see he'll complete this pass to Balin Damhoff on 4th down, but it wouldn't be enough. Forreston takes over, and they'll get the first 2 touchdowns of the night. Micah Nelson runs this one into the end zone for the Cardinals score. They'll convert for 2 on both touchdowns in that quarter. And Crace continues to have himself a game. Here he'll intercept the pass, and he'll run it all the way back to the 30. After a big first half for the Cardinals, the Steamers will keep rolling. Fulton beat Forreston 30-28. Fulton improves to 5-1 in conference play. Forreston is 4-3. Scott and Reagan, back to you.
Thank you, Taylor. We do have a third NUIC game to get to. This one took place in Dakota, where the Indians are hungry for another playoff shot. They haven't been to the playoffs since 2018.
Yeah, the record at the start of the night was 3-3, so this was a big game for them against Galena. Galena also came into the game with a record of 3-3. Dakota's first drive, Adrian Ariano on the carry. That's first down yardage, plus a face mask penalty to go with it. Moments later, it's fullback Thomas Bowman who will plow in for the TD. Dakota led 8-0 with the conversion. On their next possession, it'll be Bowman again finding his way into the end zone. The Indians get win number 4, so they're knocking on the playoff door. Dakota beats Galena 30-7.
In the other NUIC game tonight, EPC beat West Carroll 61-0. Stockton did not play tonight. The Blackhawks will host Fieldcrest tomorrow afternoon. NIC 10 action is coming up in a bit, but next we focus on the Big Northern Conference.
Could Winnebago become the first team this season to knock off Stillman Valley, or will the Cardinals fly high again? You're watching Overtime. Stillman Valley tore out of the gate to 6 straight wins this season.
The Cardinals' defense has been amazing through the first 6 weeks. It gave up only 33 points. That's an average of only 6.5 points per game. Tonight, the Cardinals hosted a Winnebago team that could put points on the board. The Indians came in with a record of 4-2, 14-6 at the half, opening kickoff to third quarter. And I think somebody told the Cardinals we're featuring kick returners a bit later. Porter Needs is going to take it all the way to the house, and that's how you start the half. How would Bago respond, though? Supreme Muhammad will get the carry, break it out to the left, and find a lot of daylight ahead of him. Touchdown Indians, they were back within a score. Braden Engel and the Cardinals back the other way, and he'd keep it himself, make a defender miss, and he's in. It was a 2-score game again, 28-14, and the cheerleaders were working overtime. Back to Bago in the fourth. Alec Weevil fits the ball over a defender, and Andrew Pentecoff would make the juggling catch. Time winding late in the game, 4th and goal for the Indians. Weevil hits Lucas Cowman to the right, who's gonna fight for it, but he'll come up short. Stillman Valley took over, and it was all she wrote. Stillman Valley wins it 28-14. Let's go to North Boone, where the Vikings hosted Rock Falls. First drive for the Vikings, quarterback Chandler Alderman will have Julian Rodriguez on the edge, and he'll slip past a few guys for a nice pickup and the first down. Next snap, Alderman again. He's looking downfield, and he has Brandon Becker wide open for the first score of the game, 7-0 Vikings. North Boone defense came out hot too. Rodriguez here, he's making moves on both sides of the ball. Big sack there for the junior linebacker. North Boone takes Rock Falls 54-13. In the other big northern game tonight, Dixon beat Genoa Kingston 21-19. Byron will play at Oregon tomorrow afternoon.
Also, Lutheran and Rockford Christian are going to play tomorrow afternoon. In other games tonight, Rochelle beat Thornridge 61-8, and Sycamore beat Woodstock North 48-15. Naperville Central defeated DeKalb 26-0. Canelan beat Marengo 44-6. Hey, let's check out some 8-man action. Aquin at Christian Life. Eagles on offense. Josh Burkett going to scramble around. He's looking, directs traffic, and finds Gabriel Taylor open for the first down and then some. Next play, Burkett wants to pass again. Looking for the end zone. This time, though, it's going to be picked off by Reed Pearson. So Aquin takes over on offense. Pearson going to do his thing, breaking away here from the tackle. Runs down the sideline, got by another man, and he's off 40 yards for the TD. Bulldogs looking for the 2-point conversion to tack on. Jackson Edgy will pound through for the score. Aquin beat Christian Life 50-0. Another 8-man football. Polo beat River Ridge 60-14. Hiawatha defeated South Beloit 60-20. Nick 10 fans, we got your teams next.
Tim Bailey will join us to look ahead to a couple big games tomorrow. And could Belvedere North remain undefeated tonight? The Blue Thunder had a key game with Hananiga.
One game separated the top 4 teams in the NIC 10 going into this weekend, and a 5th team is just another game behind.
The team being chased by everyone else has been Belvedere North. The Blue Thunder were looking to improve to 7-0 tonight at home. In their way was one of the teams just a game back on their tail, the Hananiga Indians. Second drive for the Blue Thunder, and quarterback Maddox Gillenswan nosedives in the pile for 6-0 North. But then take a look at this. Isaiah Hui on the following kick return, getting shifty. Is he going to take it all the way? No, he'll get stopped up, but that was a close call there. North back with the ball now. Gillenswan pulls up, and he'll find Ethan Tuckley for a big pickup. First down, Blue Thunder. A few snaps later, and it'll be Eric Roman to move on in. 13-3, North leads now in the second. But I mean, the Indians were right on their toes. Cole Warren gets the snap. He keeps it. The QB sneak working like a charm, and he takes it all the way to the house. That brings Hana within 3 at the half. But the Blue Thunder would start rolling, and by far the biggest play of the game here in the fourth. Who else but Nico Bertolino? He gets the handoff, huge gap here, and see ya. That brings the score to 27-17, and that would be the final. Gritty performance tonight from the Blue Thunder.
Wow.
Let's welcome in our Nick Tan analyst, Tim Bailey, to discuss. You say wow, and
Yes.
why wow?
Yes, because I mean it was a great game tonight. I mean we saw two great teams go head to head. In the first half, you know, it was at halftime it was 13-10. I mean both teams looked like it was going to go down to the wire in the first half, and then come the second half, Hananiga just came on a different team. So you know that's why I say wow.
And Tim, you talked last week about the fact that you wanted to see Belvedere North pass the ball more. And when Tim Bailey asks, he shall receive, because that's exactly what you got.
Yeah, I was shocked. I think I may have galvanized the young man with my comment last week about you know North passing the ball a little bit more when you go into stiffer competition as you see here with Hananiga. He passed well tonight. Tip my hat up to the young man. He came up big. I mean, some of the plays that he made, 15, 20-yard passes, and that's what you need, getting ready for the playoffs. You want to make sure this time of the year, okay, we know we're run dominant, but can we pass? And he showed that tonight.
Tim, one of maybe the biggest mistakes from Hananiga tonight came where they were leaving North with the ball a little way too close for comfort.
Yeah, Hananiga just they really couldn't get it going in the first half. In the first half, they looked pretty good, but the second half they came out, they looked a little lethargic, and I was kind of concerned. Are they going to really be able to get back on track and continue to what they were doing in the first half? First half, they had everything that they wanted. They had the pass in some ways, and also too they had the run. But Hananiga's offense came out tonight, and the big plays. By Bertolino here, as you see in the clip here, I mean, the kid can go from 0 to 60 in like 0.5 seconds. So I'm not surprised that he was able to break a big play like that. But Hananiga's defense should have came up bigger than what they did.
And another point to touch on with this North team is their ability to make those big plays, as you just said. And they did that with Nico Bertolino, and that's just not something this defense could handle tonight.
No, not at all. Again, it was a great call by Coach. For Belvedere North, he called a great call. He got the ball into the right guy's hands. I mean, Nico Bertolino. But I just think that how Hananiga actually flowed to the ball was the reason why this play actually broke the way it did, because the pursuit on the backside never came over, as you saw here in the clip. So but you got to tip your hat off to Belvedere North. I mean, they responded well tonight.
All right, Tim, we're going to have you join us again here in a minute. First, let's check out some more highlights tonight. The Belvedere Bucks still looking for their first win. They would try to get it tonight at Auburn. Knights on 4th down. They draw a fake run by Patrick DeBose Jr., and he circles around to the sideline and reaches right there for the first down, but that drive would later stall. Bucks now working after a penalty at the 1. Brema Gunner would hand the ball off to Carter Jonathan for the TD. Bucks in business. They decide to go for 2. Looked like the exact same play, but flipped to the other side. And the Bucks do get the conversion. The Knights are only up by 5 now. Anthony Purifoy for Auburn will find Terry Horton off the screen. Horton's going to pick up 12 yards here. Auburn would cruise to the win over Belvedere 27-8. In Freeport, the Pretzels beat Jefferson. Great game there, 32-30.
Here are the updated Nick 10 standings. Belvedere North leads now with a 7-0 record. Boylan and Guilford are right next at 5-1. Hananiga is 5-2, and Harlem is 4-2. Tomorrow there will be 2 games involving some of those teams. Harlem will play at Boylan at 1 o'clock, and East will take on Guilford at 1 o'clock. The Titans, Vikings, and Huskies are all still very much in the hunt in the conference.
All right, so we bring on Tim and once again that Harlem-Boylan game. Are we looking at a shootout in that game, Tim? What do you expect? What could be the difference?
I don't think we're going to look at a shootout. I think we're going to see a game that Boylan should be able to take control of. Harlem hasn't really played well this year at all. And we talked about that a couple weeks ago in one of our segments that, I didn't get a chance to speak on Harlem when the question was asked, but Harlem really hasn't played well since week 1 to me. I know what they're trying to do on offense, but for some reason they just can't get it to click. And the way Boylan is playing right now, both offensively and defensively, I expect Boylan, it's a home game too, so I expect Boylan to come out establish the run, pass when you need to pass, play well on defense, come up big as you did last week in Hananiga, and slowly speedsters down that Harlem has in Muhammad and then Johnson as well. So I think it'll be a good game, but I don't expect it to be a barn burner.
East at Guilford should be a fun one too. The E-Rabs are going to try and ruin Guilford's NIC 10 championship hopes, but do the E-Rabs really have what it takes to handle the physicality of this Guilford team?
Well, I talked to Coach Griff today, and one thing he said, you know, we want to be able to come out and just play solid E-Rab football. We want to be able to come out and sustain drives on offense and put together a whole game. That's something that East hasn't done all year, put together a whole game playing all 4 quarters. We know what they have on offense. They have some of the best weapons in the area in Dotson and Catlin. But it's time for the E-Rabs to really put it all together if they want a shot at the playoffs going forward.
It should be a great afternoon of football tomorrow. Thank you, Tim, as
Appreciate
always, for your knowledge and insight. Let's take another time out.
When we come back, the talent runs deep at the kick returner position this year in the NIC 10. We'll look at some of the burners who have been leaving would-be tacklers in the dust. Well, many football fans will tell you the most exciting play in football is the kick return. Recent rule changes in the NFL have diminished the return opportunities at that level, but still a big part of high school football. And in the NIC 10 this season, we're witnessing the best crop of kick returners in a long, long time. It started on the opening weekend when Harlem sophomore Jamani Muhammad got his hands on a kickoff from the Auburn Knights. He started up the middle, slipped a tackle, and then his sprinter speed that made him a NIC 10 JV track champion last year took over. He went 79 yards with it. How special was that, your first varsity game to take one all the way to the house?
It was real special, you know, because that was my first varsity touchdown, and it was crazy.
Freeport has a guy who's taken multiple kicks to the house this season in Diedrich Macon. Auburn has O'Shavian Dismute. Guilford's Marquez Jordan is a major return threat. Hananiga has the dangerous Isaiah Huey. Some teams have multiple home run threats on returns. East has Javius Catlin and Deterra Stotson. They're always threats to break the big one when they touch the football. Belvedere North had a dynamic return combo in Nico Bertolino and Joseph Brown until Brown got injured a couple weeks ago. Against Boylan, he returned the second half kickoff 81 yards for a touchdown. Without that play, Belvedere North might not have won that game. When you're returning one to the house, do you have a strategy, a plan in mind, or are you just going on instinct?
I just look for gaps, and if I see one, I just try to hit it. Once I hit one, I just look for the next.
Can you recall a year when there were so many quality home run hitters on special teams that you just have to be ready for every week?
You know, to be honest, not really. I can't recall a year when there were that many home run threats.
Cacciatore has 2 of them at Boylan. Last week, Rasheed Johnson took the opening kickoff to the house at Hananiga to set the tone in that game. The Titans also have Mark Harris. He had this sick punt return against Belvedere where he circled back to avoid a defender, and then he took it to the end zone.
Down the sidelines. Mark Harris is going to go. Touchdown, Titans!
What's the first thing you want out of a good kick return guy?
Can they catch the ball? So we want a certain proficiency when we're looking at guys who can actually field the ball without the ball becoming a ping pong ball out there. That's what we're hoping for.
Speed's great, but number one is catch the ball. So you've got to be able to field the ball. You've got to be able to make that judgment. We've had return guys in the past that can't really judge. And they get nervous, and if they should catch it or let it go. What I like about Huey is that he does a great job of just snagging the ball and getting after it, getting up the field.
Cacciatore says another consideration in picking a return man is how much he's already playing on offense and defense, and how valuable is that player to the team overall, and is it worth risking injury?
Because there are just some devastating hits on special teams, he might be our guy, but because of the nature of the violence on kickoff, is that the guy we want back there returning things?
Harlem's DeAndre Young might have been the best return man in the NIC 10 last year. He returned 2 kickoffs for touchdowns against Cacciatore's Titans. Young is still returning kicks and punts for the Huskies this year. He loves that part of the game.
It's my favorite part of the game, honestly, because you get the ball and just everybody's coming at you and you just got to think quick and just go.
With Muhammad now on varsity, Young might not even be the best return man on his own team. Muhammad might now be the best in the conference.
He's fast, he got vision, he's got everything.
He moves and he turns up the field, and he's got some speed that we haven't seen in a while.
DeAndre did a great job last year and the year before that, and now we got Jamani. So, kick it to whichever one you want back there, and they know what they're doing with it, so it's nice.
Many times we see teams kick the ball out of bounds or squib kick it short rather than risk getting burned by a big return, but not always. And I hope we will see these guys get some more chances to get their hands on the football.
And I'm sure we will. Jamani Muhammad's only a sophomore, so there are a lot more returns where that came from. He's going to be fun to watch the next 2 years. We'll be right back after this final timeout.
What do you say we look ahead to what's in store for us next week?
These are the NIC 10 games. Belvedere North at Harlem will be big. So will Guilford at Boylan. Hananiga plays at Belvedere. Freeport is at East, and Jefferson will take on Auburn.
Some really good games there in the Big Northern Conference. Dixon will play at Byron, Rockford Christian at Genoa Kingston, Oregon at Rock Falls, Winnebago at North Boone, and Stillman Valley at Rockford Lutheran.
In the NUIC, we'll see Dakota play at West Carroll. Dupec takes on Galena. Stockton plays at Lena Winslow. EPC plays at Fulton on Saturday, and Forreston will play at Gibson City on Saturday.
And in 8-man football, some of the games include Amboy at Aquin, Milledgeville at River Ridge, Orangeville at South Beloit, Flanagan, Cornell at Polo, and AFC at Peoria Heights. Hey, join us each Friday night at 11 o'clock on Fox 39 for Overtime.
And remember, you can find highlights and scores anytime by going to mystateline.com. That will do it for us.
Have a great weekend, everybody.